Across Namibia, thousands of people are living long, healthy, powerful lives with HIV. In the Otjozondjupa region, their stories are not just about survival. They are stories of strength, resilience, and courage. This documentary honors the men and women who turned fear into power and found hope in the face of uncertainty. We begin in Ochuarongo, where one woman's courage transformed her entire community. This is Magdalena Joao, a mother, an advocate, and one of the first people in Otjozondjupa to speak publicly about her HIV status.
My name is Magdalena Joao. I was born and bred in Ochuarongo. I was exactly born in this house where we are staying now. I went to school in Ochuarongo, to Ochuarongo Paris School. And then 1996, I became pregnant as a young lady. And at the pregnancy of 6 months is when I was having a light bleeding. I went to the hospital in Ochuarongo. When I went to the hospital, I was admitted, given bed rest for 3 days. And then I was taken HIV blood. So that time we didn't know anything about HIV. People were just talking about AIDS. So they were not even counseling, nothing. You were just taking blood, and then you were told to come back after 2 weeks, which was a ELISA test, which was taken. After 2 weeks, I went back, and it's when I got my results. It was exactly the doctor who just called me in, told me that, no, your blood result has come back. You are having AIDS. And then at that time that he told me just like that, I just like feeling a dark cloud. Everything was just dark for me. And then from there, I start crying, and I got my results. Exactly, I went to my friend. I was having a friend who was staying at that side of Makati's stadium. When I went to her, I just break the news to her that, no, I got my results, and then they are saying that I'm having AIDS. Okay, that person, she just encouraged me, talked to me, and said that, no, you must just cry out. And once you cry, you will feel delighted. And as you know that I'm having also high blood pressure. So I think with living with HIV or with AIDS, because that time we were just talking about AIDS, and I think maybe if you can accept, you can just live longer and so on. She encouraged me. I came back to my auntie's house. The time when I was pregnant, I was staying with my auntie in Ovambo location that side. When I came back, I just break the news to her again. Because from the beginning, my family members, my friends, they were so supportive. It encouraged me a lot. As I said, I was tested in 1996. I stayed, because you know, if you are told something like you are HIV positive, sometimes there are also these doubts and whatever, they are also coming in, the fears and so on. So, but I was dealing with them until the time that I came out publicly, 2000. So 2000 is when I came out publicly. I remember there was a time of this, it was December, 20th December, when I came out publicly. There was someone who just called us and then encouraging us. And then that time it was Minister Libertine Amatila, who was the Minister of Health. We were invited to the hospital. The lecturer hall is where I came out publicly in the presence of Dr. Libertine Amatila. And it's how I become getting that strength. It was for the first time that I came out publicly.
Magdalena joined Lironga Eparu, one of Namibia's earliest support groups. She began educating others, speaking at World AIDS Day events, and encouraging mothers to seek treatment.
And then from there, joined the group of Lirongai Paru. Normally we used to go to Window where I got my strength, gain more knowledge about HIV. And obviously, when there was World AIDS Day, I was the one who was just encouraging others how I become strong with living with HIV. So right away, I did not start with medication. With ARVs, I started in 2004. 8th of September 2004 is when I started with my ARVs. Is how I got also the knowledge on HIV, the difference between HIV and AIDS. And since 2004 up to date, I'm just on medication. Before I went on medication, I stayed 8 years. The 9th year is when they put me on medication. And ever since I'm on medication, we started first with maybe 3 tablets, 2 or 3, yeah. Now we are having only 1 tablet that I'm taking. In the morning, 8 o'clock. So I start living positively, without fear, without denial, since I came out publicly. And I have never defaulted my medication. I'm still at the first line. I never went to the second line or the third line. I'm living with HIV virus for 29 years now. On medication, I'm living on medication it's now 20 years that I'm taking my medication.
Women who refuse to accept hopelessness. This is Mina Ndaitwa, who now lives in Otjozondjupa. Ndaitwa tested positive in 2001 under difficult and painful circumstances.
Jina langa Mina Yandaitwa ndadalelwa kenana ndaputukila munkunda okapalona kelipope pinenana ndakona ombuto HIV monlongo na atano Auguste momayovi avali naimwe omo ndakonakona ombuto HIV ndakonakonenwa koshipangelo konandjokwe oko kwali ashike hatulongo poshipale ndele handi kwatueketelele handi lidengepo mboli ondakanifa ohonde molutu eshi ndaya koshipangelo kakwali name ndelidimbuluka ngenge ondili metelelo opo eshi ndakakonakonwa ndamonika kutya ondili metelelo okwali valombwelange kutya ohonde yange itayi dulu kutopolelathana pamwe netelelo eli kwali ndahumbata onke ovatokola velikufemo eshi konima velikufamo ondakakala ngo ndihewudite nawa ye ondokotola okwali tavatelenge talombwelenge ne kutya nandiye ndikakonakonwe AIDS ethimbo olo ihakutiwa nokuli ombuto HIV hakutiwa ashike AIDS ame ondaya kokandunda ako ndakakonakonwa oko ne ndahanga kuna iipundi nokuli yashangwa ashike AIDS konima yayo eshi tokala komutumba okwali shili ndina omukumo nondakufwa ekonakono lange lombuto HIV kakwali hatukufwa kominwe ngaashi paife hatuningilwa ekonakono lokukufwa ohonde komunwe ndele okwali ndakufwa pokooko apa enyamukulo olakalako uule womwedi naashi ndekelitalako ovalombwelange kutya owamonika omukithi wo AIDS ethimbo olo kakwali pena oshitya ombuto ndele okwali pena kutya AIDS nokwali nokuli ehungomwenyo lange kakwali nande ndelihafela shaashi okwali ashike ndalombwelwa kutya ngaho watelela uye melambo omanga ame okwali ndina omukumo nondalombwela kwali ondokotola apange oshijemo shange kutya nande takutiwa handi melambo ondina omukumo fiku limwe lomomafiku onakukamonike epango olo tali kalelepeka ombuto yo HIV onke etwa omukumo lange kovanamibia ile kukeshe tu omunhu nditye omunhu keshe umwe wamanguluka okukundathana nakaume koye kopamilele ngele tashiya kuuhaku ngeta shuya kunjolo wele opo tukale keshe mwe ushikucha owafika mapeni opo tukali haluke hatuti kucha ovengo wetelange ovengo wacha ndele ngengo shima neno weshitomona pena omito neno hashimono omito shashipe moshiwana otuna nepela odo hadufanwa kucha oprepa odo hadamene onto wina kwatwa kombuto HIV opo akale inakwatwa ali kombuto HIV nena ngengo onto wenlombwele kucha ama ondafika mangaha ondafika ondino mbuto HIV ohandino mitidangelo dokulelepe kongalamwenyo neno onto atyangaho hakufa ombinga kucha handi nando koprepa shashame ndakonakona ndishi nandi moni kombuto ohandi komichedi tadamene ngopo ndi hakwatwa kombuto HIV.
Mina became a vocal advocate for communication, testing, and honesty within relationships.
Nena ikwatafano leni otali komishonawa notankala mo relationship aeni ina ukolele shashikapena utawedele monkwao ile kapena utapenkwa ombuto ongena bavelike pango avesheveli pamwe ovapumbo kukala taapopafana kucha ave unombuto HIV nave lombweleke nkweni kucha name ondilike pango opo amushe mukale tamulitwa onkumo shashetwa onkumo molwendo onkalamwenyo lokumbata ombuto HIV olwashike talifa onkalamwenyo yawu aumbata ombuto aye komesho. Etonkumo lange olili natango apa ondahala kulombwela ova Namibia unene tu ovalumenu opo vakufe ombinga vo vaye kipangelo lipopepi navo vo vadule okukonakonwa shashi unene ondeshimona kucha ootate vahapu nando otomulombwele ngo kucha aye ame ondina ombuto HIV ohashikala shafa shemukhalula kucha ombuto HIV itayi dulu okukala momuntu eli ngaho kaya shashi okwateelela ngeno omuntu akale nando okuli teehama ile ena omadhidhiliko nando onumba ongadi omanga pethimbo lopaife itohange vali omuntu uumbata ombuto HIV ndele okuna omadhidhiliko otomono kutya omuntu okuumbata ombuto HIV ovanhu aveshe ovelifa ashike ongenge ike omuntu ekulombwela ye mwene kutya okwathikama peni. Onkee apo ohandi pandula epangelo la Namibia eshileetapo omiti odo tadi nu oshali onkee ohandi tsu omukumo oomeme aveshe ngeno ovo veli humbata taya kamonika ombuto HIV opo uunona vavo eshi tekevamona vakale inava kwatwa kombuto HIV olo etomukumo lange ndinalo vo nakeshe umwe ape omukumo mukwawo wamonika ombuto HIV opo ashike hatufindana opo ike hatu dulu okulwifa ombuto HIV ihatandavele vali ihaye komesho.
In Grootfontein, a young mother found strength in responsibility. Meet Olga Povandu, diagnosed in 2007.
Enaranjami Olga Povandu, bikara moshivanda bakwaterwa moshivanda, bikapuno ngundu yanje, shimba muni kumushite mbimbeko kurairo vandu vanje ponganda, evera ero kushamba vera shimba vera, mbautamo mirongo vivari na ambombari, shimba utamo mirongo mbia ambombari, mbauto kuno opera dhanje, eipuno sestra mwanje ku hospitala, ngwenji twara, ekatwa membo ndenene, okutokuno miti yanje, shimba no miti yanje rairo vandu ponganda, kungoto mitimbi, epanduko anashe vanji vane, avehemba kavenu mushite veri nawa, bikamba puno ngundu yanje, turia pamwe, kusha inomba, hinanjo story okuvera mbiri nawa uri morutu rwanje, binopera dhanje nawa. Shimba penduka mbi tokusikon makan, kukombonjua, nukukoho viaha, biharaka mba kumrungumba maramu, penjengu ni haraka, nukukoho viaha, nukudhika, nukuteru unashwanje nungundu yanje.
64-year-old Michael Petrus, who also resides in Grootfontein, carries a story of love, loss, and discipline.
Agotero ko ambo kona mnama mbagotero eyamba oyungura pali mjungura pomburu itu obutirasa kuzambu mbongura porombura hambo umwe ekayeso yungu ke akauto yungu la kuluseba po twakakambura sana nangu mkwetu kwali mesho kuti mkwetu nangwali uli nayi twakambura sana ulilo kuti aye eto vandu omuntu kakala tukara mkwetu kuto okuvera yakauto kuvera itwala kwa jipangero uveze ndio mitika ipo ropera kazea ndizo mukisi wetungu nao karondi nondi echimeno mitiange no problem yacho kuti mbina mba mefula mapwihamwa hina yange mberi tula ulilike pango lyange kuti ropera yange kianda mbitupuka chimanga hakano ukapaho miti yange itora mkwetu mbaye njo twende tukapaho miti yetu so lango mkuru etu metu yanja urombura katiti maziko mrungu.
Some stories are quiet but powerful. This is Emily Varuses, whose health returns slowly but surely.
Emily Varuses tenskar dake Emily Varuses dake at abarake chwa oh ora ke tat abarako kai se ke kapusai ta kai se kapusai dake pelote se ora ke se kai se racha pelote ke se ke kai se racha si kai se de se ora ka hora hi pasa itba habe ke nguna tari mati ama tari habe ke tamda kamla tran obang chira tan chira tam hora ni ke kai se racha kai de take nanu ora
Our final story comes from a woman who dedicated her life to helping others. This is Magdalena Meyer, a resident of Okaanja, a former HIV counselor whose courage began with testing herself.
So, ik is Magdalena Meyer, geboren in 1963. Ik is 62 jaar oud. So, ik heb bij die kliniek beginnen werken 2015 van de Ministry of Health and Social Services as a community as HIV counselor, nee, en HIV tester. So, ik heb zelf nieuwsgierig geraakt in 2012 besluit om ik laat toetsen voor mezelf, want ik heb geen ziektes of wat gehad. Ik heb zelf voor mij in de kantoor getoetst. Toen roep ik mijn collega, laat ze voor mij toetsen. Toen zie ik is HIV positief. Oké, daarna heb ik begin met die behandeling, maar ik heb van niemand altijd gezien. Het is iets wat ik zelf voor mij gehoord heb. Van zoals de jaren komen, heb ik gezond gebleven. Ik heb geen problemen gehad. Nie. En ik heb mijn medicijnen op tijd gevat, elke dag. Ik heb gezond gegeten, zoals ik gezegd. Boyfriend, als ik toch een partner kreeg, heb ik toch gezorgd dat ik die condom gebruik. En ik zie spijtig, want ik heb tot nu toe nog niemand in dag aangesteken. Nee? Zoals de jaren komen, en ik gedraag mezelf, en ik is gezond zoals jullie zien. 2020 is ik voor COVID getoetst. En ik heb gedenkt met hierdie HIV-virus van mij, zal ik doodgaan. Maar ik heb niet, ik is gevat voor quarantaine. Waterberg toe. En een week gaan gebleven. Want ik heb die symptomen gehad, die al wat daar gebeurt, net die sprak het weggegaan, die reek. En ik heb zelf bij die werk gezegd, die reek is weg. Maar ik zeg voor Heere, dank je. Al hoeveel ik HIV positief is, dat ik niet gaan dood. Ik ga niet, zoals die andere mensen wat gezond is, wat toch niks ziektes heeft niet.
As we commemorate World AIDS Day, we honor the voices that spoke out, the hands that lifted others, and the hearts that continue to beat strongly for themselves, for their families, and for Namibia.
Ik wil toch die mensen aanrijden, zeggen, hulle moet net positief blijven, toch net, hulle moet niet aan die verkeerde kant denken. Als jij daaraan denkt en je daaraan steert, je zal achteruit gaan. Je zal. Je moet niet bekommerd zijn, als je niet ook niet weet, je staat op en je drinkt je pil. Of de hele tijd wat je drinkt, dan zal je normaal leven. En ik hoop en prijs voor de Heer, laat ik het liefst 70 kan halen. En ik geloof, als ik net mijn medicijnen.
for those who are taking medication, I want to encourage them also to take their medication if they accept their status, because acceptance is the best medication. If you accept your status living with HIV and disclose to your dearest people, your family or your neighbors and so on, or your friends, you can live a healthy life because there's nothing that is bothering you.
Waumbile ke poto nuwa mitio ya chimwe ichiwe ya njwango ikuvatere okuya kwa Mulungu. Edo kuti wakaumbila ke poto umwenyo woye warandisa kwa uyo umwini. Amejimwa amemeti andangi ke pango ndi matupangwa. Pomba hulile mbo hino jina kwa mihindira.